Most people believe that saving money is the key to freedom. They think holding on to every dollar is a sign of discipline and intelligence. They've been taught that security comes from accumulation. But what if that belief is the very reason most people never escape financial struggle? Because the truth is far darker and far more powerful. Money doesn't grow in silence. It doesn't multiply in a vault. Money multiplies only when it moves. The rich understand this rule instinctively. They don't cling to money, they command it. They deploy their cash like an army. Each dollar sent to conquer new territory, each investment a strategic strike toward expansion. Meanwhile, the poor hold on tight. They lock their savings away and pray it grows. But stillness is decay. While they wait, inflation steals their value, and opportunity passes them by. They think they're being careful, but they're actually feeding the system that enslaves them. Banks lend out their safe savings to create more wealth for themselves. The savers fund the system, the investors own it. Since childhood, you were told to save your money. You were taught to fear loss more than you desire growth. That's not wisdom, it's control. It's a mindset designed to keep you compliant, comfortable enough to work, but never dangerous enough to build empires. Because real power doesn't come from saving, it comes from using. Money is energy, and energy dies when it's trapped. It's not meant to be hoarded. It's meant to flow, to build, to multiply. The wealthy understand this better than anyone. They move money through networks, deals, and opportunities that never stop spinning. Their cash is always alive, always in motion, always working. If you want to escape financial mediocrity, you must unlearn what you were taught. You must stop treating money like something sacred and start treating it like a weapon. Because money is not safety, it's strategy. And those who learn how to move it win the game of wealth. In this series, you'll learn the core laws of financial power, rules used quietly by the rich and hidden from the masses. Each chapter will expose a different mindset, a new lens that transforms how you view every dollar you touch. By the end, you'll never see money as paper again. You'll see it as motion, as control, as freedom. Let's begin. The poor by comfort, the rich by capability. That's the first law of motion in wealth. Most people use money to escape discomfort. They buy distractions, new clothes, new phones, temporary highs. They trade long-term power for short-term pleasure. But every dollar you spend on comfort is a dollar that dies. The rich think differently. They see money as a tool to expand their capability. Every purchase is judged by a single question. Will this make me more effective tomorrow than I am today? If the answer is yes, they spend aggressively. If the answer is no, they walk away without hesitation. Because to the rich, spending isn't about luxury, it's about leverage. They understand that capability compounds faster than capital. Money fades. Skills last forever. A new phone depreciates the moment you buy it. But a new skill appreciates for life. You can lose your job, your business, even your network. But no one can take away what you've become. The system rewards those who can produce value at scale, not those who simply work hard. Hard work without growth is stagnation. You can't earn more by doing the same thing forever. You earn more when your capability expands beyond your current role. That's why the rich treat education like a weapon. They spend thousands on mentorships, books, and courses, not because they love learning, but because they understand the cost of ignorance. Free information is expensive when it wastes your time. Paid knowledge accelerates results. The poor chase free, the rich chase speed. Think about it. Two people start the same journey. One spends years piecing together free advice. The other pays for guidance and clarity. The first struggles for 5 years. The second wins in 1. That's the price of being cheap with your future. Being careful with money often means being careless with time. And time is the only resource you can't get back. Every dollar you invest in growth shortens your learning curve. Every dollar you waste on comfort extends your captivity. So the next time you hesitate to invest in yourself, remember this: you can't save your way to power. You can only build it. And the foundation of power is capability. When you spend to become more dangerous, you're not losing money, you're gaining freedom. Money in your pocket can vanish overnight, but capability turns every future dollar into opportunity. That's why the wealthy focus on skills that multiply output: communication, leadership, persuasion, creation. Because the system doesn't pay you for effort, it pays you for impact. And when your skills become unstoppable, money stops being your master. It becomes your servant. Skill makes you capable. Position makes you powerful. That's the second law of wealth in motion. You can be the smartest, most talented person in the world, but if you're in the wrong room, no one will ever know. Talent hidden in the wrong environment becomes invisible. And invisible people don't get opportunities. The rich understand this better than anyone. They don't wait for recognition. They buy their way into relevance. They pay for access to people, rooms, and circles where opportunity lives, because they know that power circulates among those who already have it. They don't waste time shouting to be heard. They spend to sit beside the ones who whisper deals in silence. One introduction can be worth more than 10 years of effort. One conversation can collapse decades of struggle. That's why the rich see access as an investment, not a luxury. The poor think in cost. The rich think in consequence. A poor man says, "That event costs $5,000. A rich man asks, "What will it cost me if I don't go?" That single question changes everything, because every level of life has a price of admission. If you refuse to pay, you stay outside. And the longer you stay outside, the more disconnected you become from power. Position is leverage in disguise. When you're close to opportunity, opportunity starts to chase you. You stop begging for chances and start choosing them. You stop searching for success and start attracting it. The poor spend money to look important. The rich spend money to be important. They understand that the environment shapes identity. When you place yourself near power, you begin to think, act, and speak like power. And eventually, power accepts you as its own. That's why the rich buy access to exclusive spaces, private dinners, masterminds, communities that filter out noise. They don't attend for status, they attend for strategy. They're not networking, they're positioning. Because proximity changes perception. When you're surrounded by movers, you start moving differently. When you're surrounded by thinkers, your ideas evolve. When you're surrounded by winners, failure becomes uncomfortable. Money spent on positioning is never wasted. It plants you where opportunities bloom. It gives you visibility in the marketplace of power. And visibility creates credibility. Credibility creates trust. And trust creates wealth. So ask yourself, where does your money go? Does it go toward things that fade, or toward rooms that rise? Do you spend to escape, or do you spend to ascend? Because in the end, success is not about being seen by everyone. It's about being seen by the right few. And those few can open doors that the rest of the world doesn't even know exist. If skill builds your foundation, position builds your fortress. The moment you stop buying comfort and start buying access, you stop chasing luck and start manufacturing it. Leverage is the invisible force that separates the rich from the restless. It's what allows one person to achieve in a year what another can achieve in a lifetime. Leverage is how the rich escape the trap of trading time for money. They don't work harder, they work multiplied. Most people believe that doing everything themselves is strength, but that belief is how the system keeps them small. Because when you try to do everything, you own nothing. You become the worker, the operator, the exhausted engine of your own limitation. The rich see it differently. They use money to replace their effort with systems, people, and automation. They spend to make the machine run without them. That's how they create freedom, while others stay stuck in labor. Every dollar is a soldier that can either fight for you or sit idle. The poor keep their soldiers locked away in savings accounts. The rich deploy theirs into structures that earn, move, and multiply. If you make $50 an hour but spend your time doing $10 tasks, you're not saving money, you're losing leverage. Because every hour you spend on something replaceable is an hour stolen from something powerful. The rich understand this equation instinctively. They buy their time back. They hire help, build teams, and automate systems that expand their reach. They know that money spent on leverage always returns multiplied. Leverage is not just delegation, it's amplification. It turns one person's effort into a network of results. It transforms energy into scale. It's the reason one entrepreneur can impact millions while another can barely survive. The poor fear hiring because they see expense. The rich embrace it because they see expansion. They know that every person they hire is another set of hands moving their vision forward. They know that tools, software, and systems are extensions of their intelligence. And they're willing to pay for that power. Because true freedom begins the moment your results no longer depend on your presence. When your business runs while you rest. When your investments earn while you sleep. When your systems sell, scale, and sustain without your constant effort. That's not luck, that's leverage. Leverage means you no longer ask, how much can I do? You start asking, how much can I make happen? It's the shift from participation to orchestration, from worker to commander, from effort to empire. So ask yourself, where are you still doing what you could delegate? What systems could you build if you stopped being afraid to spend? Because every time you save money by keeping control, you lose opportunity by keeping yourself trapped. Money buys leverage, leverage buys freedom, and freedom buys power. The poor think spending is loss. The rich know it's multiplication. Because when your money starts working harder than you do, that's when you finally escape the system. Time is the ultimate currency. It's the one resource you can't replace, reproduce, or reclaim. And yet, most people trade it away cheaper than anything else they own. They'll fight to save $1, but waste hours every day without thinking twice. The rich never make that mistake. They understand that time is not money, time is life. Money is infinite, time is not. That's why they use money to buy back their hours, while everyone else uses hours to chase money. The poor see spending as loss, the rich see it as liberation. They know that the fastest way to multiply your impact is to free yourself from the things that slow you down. Most people believe freedom comes from saving money, but freedom actually comes from saving time. Because when you have time, you can think, you can create, you can build, you can heal, you can live. The rich spend on convenience not for laziness, but for clarity. They pay for speed, for access, for shortcuts that collapse time. They buy flight upgrades not to show off, but to rest before the next decision that matters. They use services that eliminate distractions, so they can focus their energy on high-value actions. Every moment you spend on something unimportant is a moment stolen from what could change your life. And every dollar you spend that gives you back an hour is a dollar that multiplies forever. The poor often brag about how much they do themselves. They mow their own lawns, fix their own cars, and clean their own homes, not realizing that while they're saving a few dollars, they're losing the one resource they can never earn back. The rich outsource relentlessly, not because they're lazy, but because they know their focus is worth more than their effort. They guard their time like treasure. They schedule their lives around purpose, not chores, and that's why they always seem to have more of it. Buying time isn't about luxury, it's about priority. It's about saying, my energy belongs to my vision, not my errands. It's about designing a life where you own your hours instead of renting them out. When you stop measuring money by what it buys and start measuring it by what it saves, your entire perspective shifts. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, can I afford not to? Because time compounds just like money does. One wasted day becomes a wasted decade. One bold decision to buy back your focus can rewrite your entire future. So spend to save time. Spend to protect your hours. Spend to buy back your life. Because in the end, money will come and go, but the clock only moves one way. The poor serve time. The rich command it. And until you learn to command it, you'll always be rich in potential but poor in peace. Now you understand the truth about money. It doesn't grow by sitting still. It multiplies when it moves. You've learned the 4 core principles the rich live by. Spend to build capability, so you become stronger and more valuable. Spend to buy position, so you're closer to opportunities that matter. Spend to gain leverage, so your money and systems work for you. Spend to buy time, so your life belongs to you, not the clock. Every dollar is a choice. Every purchase is a vote for the life you want. Are you voting for comfort, distraction, and stagnation? Or are you voting for growth, influence, and freedom? The game of wealth rewards action, strategy, and boldness. It punishes hesitation, fear, and stillness. If you want control over your future, you must stop hoarding your money and start deploying it. Your next move defines your tomorrow. The rich move first. They spend strategically, and they let their money create power that compounds. Now it's your turn. Decide how you'll use your resources. Decide if you'll remain a spectator or become a commander of your life. If you found this video valuable, smash that like button. Subscribe to Psychology Insights for more lessons on mindset, wealth, and power. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that could change your life. Remember, money isn't a trophy, it's a weapon, a tool, and a key. The moment you start commanding it, you start commanding your destiny. Your future is in motion. Are you ready to move with it?